Sue here for my journey with Parkinson's. So I've titled this particular piece Forgetting and Fumbling About. Now, I'm usually pretty good at using my computer, but this morning I was trying to do something with my husband and he was telling me to click on things and I didn't know whether to right click or left click and whether double click or single click, or it may sound silly, and he said to me, "You've used computers for years, you know how to do this stuff," but for some reason, because he was sitting there when we were needing to do something important, I just could not get my head together. I could not get my head straight, and I could feel like getting really tense and having trouble thinking, and just it wasn't easy. And it's difficult when somebody says to you, "You know this stuff, you do it all the time, you're good with computers," but in that moment it's all gone. I kind of felt myself getting stressed and anxious, and it was quite a simple thing that we're doing really, but I just could not think through the steps of how to do them, and that's really quite upsetting. And I had to remind my husband that I've got a brain that isn't doing its best work, basically. It's affected by my Parkinson's, and I'm getting more forgetful, and I think I get more stressed when under pressure and anxious, all things that I'm not really used to. So, yeah, sometimes this Parkinson's thing jumps up and bites you in the bum, and before you realise it, you're experiencing one of the lovely symptoms of Parkinson's. Now, I have noticed that I do get more anxious these days. That's not contested at all, that I do get anxious. My husband said to me that I get anxious over little things, and I really don't know why. It's like my brain's not allowing me to join the dots sometimes. And I know when I have conversations with people that I'll have a thought and go, "Oh, I must tell them that." And because I know that my memory is not the best, I will sometimes be a little bit impulsive and go, oh, can I tell you this? And if they're still in the middle of a conversation, A, it might sound rude, and B, even if I interrupt like that, sometimes the word or the thought that I had that I wanted to share has completely disappeared. I've got no idea what I was going to say. And even naming things, sometimes I'll try to name something that I need or it's just an object and I can't think of the name. And that's pretty stressful when you can't even remember the name of things. Yeah, my memory is definitely getting worse. I do have to write myself lots of notes. I have missed a couple of appointments from time to time, just 2 in recent times, but that's enough. And I have a whiteboard on my fridge, and I write on there. It's actually not just a whiteboard, it's done in a week, so you can put what you're doing every day. And I write on that, and I add things to it as I need to, so that I can check the fridge, and my husband can check the note on the fridge, so that we both know what each other is doing. Because we don't do everything together. We do our own thing. I have my podcast, I have my blog, which is parkiesandme.com, and hop on there and have a look. There's a lot of stuff in there that you may find useful. But my blog and my podcast has got to be honest and in the moment. And so we've just finished doing this stuff on the computer for something quite important. And I was getting really stressed, and he was telling me, he'd start saying, "Do this and do that." I go, "Where do I find that?" He goes, "You know where to find that." And the normal, not stressed me does know where to find these things and how to do these things. But it's like, because I felt under pressure, it's like every sensible thought, every memory of how to do the thing was gone. And I just had this blank space in my head with nothing in it, and trying to explain that to my husband, that I wasn't doing it to be annoying, and I'm sure it was annoying, but it's just because I felt that it was important that I do this thing with him, but that the pressure of having to do this thing together this morning and having to go in and out of various programs and documents and things like that made me get a little bit stressed. Yeah, so I think sometimes when, I think I still present reasonably well, but I think sometimes when you do that and you've got something like Parkinson's, people can forget that life is a challenge, even with things that you really familiar with, or should be really familiar with, like using a computer and downloading files and doing that sort of thing and filling in forms. Things I've done for years and years and years. But sometimes if I feel overwhelmed and overstressed and overstretched, then it stops me being able to think and reason through what I'm doing next or why I'm doing things. So it's challenging for me, but it's also challenging for my husband. When we're trying to have a conversation and I'm partway through I can't think straight, it's actually not very helpful at all. Yeah, so I've been forgetting and fumbling about, trying to find the words, trying to remember how to do things. We've done it in the end, and he's gone off to his cave, we call it his man cave in the house, and he's gone to do whatever he wants to do there, and we're having a time doing our own thing, and then we'll get together later and we'll go and have a coffee or something, which is nice. But yeah, I think I don't do well under pressure anymore. I don't do hurry. I don't do think quickly necessarily and make snap decisions. Things need to be planned, organised and reasoned for me, because I need to have some certainty, and I need to have the time to think, the time to plan, time to write things down, and the time to respond. I can't do these things quickly. So just some thoughts on my sort of stressed response to having to do these things this morning. And my husband was getting frustrated, I think, and so was I. And so, we got there in the end, but it can be a tricky thing. So this has been Sue for My Journey with Parkinson's. Kia kaha, be brave, be strong, be here.